All right, so capacity is our last part of this measurement. We've still got a similarity in triangles, but that's a little bit different. Okay, so this is the last part other than the applications. This is the last part of measurement. So we've done area, we've done perimeter, we've done surface area, we've done volume. Volume is attached to capacity. Okay, capacity is just a different way of describing what volume is. Okay, capacity is how much liquid a shape can hold. So it's just in a different measurement. So instead of saying sort of like space, I know I showed you volume with liquid the other day when we put liquid into the shapes, but instead of talking about just the space inside a shape, which is what volume is, capacity is the amount of liquid which can be held in a shape. So it's exactly the same thing. You find it in the same way. It's just that we use a different measurement. So we use mils and litres and kilolitres for liquids. It's just like if you have a water bottle here, it says it's 600 mils. It doesn't have cubic centimetres on it. I could give you how many cubic centimetres of volume there is in here, but instead it's in mils, it's how much water can be held. Okay, so capacity is about how much liquid a shape can hold. It's still the volume, but it's just measured in a different way. So if you're asked for capacity, you must give your answer in millilitres or litres or kilolitres. Everyone okay with that? All right, so we have a new conversion table. It's different to the others. However, it's quite easy because there's just thousands there. And I think you guys can probably be able to work out that there's 1,000 mils in a litre because you all have water bottles which are like 600, 700 mils. Okay, so the fact that they're less than a litre means that you can try and remember that a litre is 1,000. Okay, so a litre is 400 mils more than this bottle. And some of you had litre bottles as well and things like that. So there are 1,000 millilitres in a litre. There are 1,000 litres in a kilolitre. So when you get to things like questions about swimming pools, things like that, they'll be going to, or lakes or things like that, they'll be talking about kilolitres capacity because there's over 1,000 litres of water in a pool. When we're talking about water bottles and things like that, we're usually looking in millilitres. They might talk about litres for like bigger recipes and things, but they'll always tell you as they go. Okay. The one thing which is really, really important here is knowing that 1 cubic centimetre equals 1 millilitre. So if you make that the little cube, which is 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre, that is what is 1 mil. So if you look at a water bottle, 600 mils, how many cubic centimetres are there? 600, it's exactly the same. So if you can convert down to the amount of cubic centimetres there are, then you should be able to work out how many mils there are because it's just the exact same number. Does that make sense? Okay, so 1 cubic centimetre equals 1 mil, and you can rearrange from there. So it's just divide by 1,000 to go up, times by 1,000 to get to the smaller amounts. Any questions? All right, so let's just do a quick example. So if the word capacity comes up, you need to know capacity is mils, litres, kilolitres. So it says find the capacity of this cube. It's got all 5 centimetres. Find the capacity of this cube. Anytime you want to find the capacity, what do you think is the first thing you have to do? You have to find the volume. Okay, because mils and litres and kilolitres are all about like it's a 3D space. We don't have that. We need to use the 2D shapes to be able to work out that 3D. So if we have this cube, how do we find the volume? So step 1 is find the volume. How do you find the volume of this cube? Say it again? Good. So length times width times height. So we've got 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. Lewis, I expect you to write all the notes down. What do you think step 2 is? Convert it. That's all you have to do. And so therefore it's exactly the same. So how many mils are there? Now, so it depends on what the question says. So you can leave it as mils if it just says capacity. However, if it asks for the capacity in litres, how many litres would there be? 0.125 because we're dividing by 1,000. It can get a little bit harder when you end up with like cubic meters, and you might need to then convert back. So the conversion tables are really important here when you're looking at capacity. You need to be able to convert back to cubic centimeters to then get to mils. All right. So if we have a look at, I'm just going to erase this, we can do it together. If we look at this prism, could you draw it and then we'll do it together? Sorry, Harry. Sorry, it's coming back. All right, so what do we have to do first? Find the base shape. What is the base shape? What's the base shape, Alex? Yeah. Rectangle and a square. Hemisphere. Perfect, thank you. All right, so we've got to go, to find the volume, we're going base shape times height. The base shape is a rectangle plus a hemisphere. And when we need to times it by the height, which we know is 20. But we need to find the area of the rectangle and the hemisphere. So how do we find the area? Sam, how do we find the area of the rectangle? Good, so we've got 12, and they're all centimetres, so we've got 12 times 10, plus, how do we find the area of the hemisphere? Nellie? Want to help? Someone want to help? Semicircle, sorry, it's not a hemisphere, it's a semicircle, yes? Semicircle? Good, so we got half, and what's pi? Chelsea, what's pi? Sorry, what's the radius? I can't talk today. 6. So half times pi times 6 squared, all times by 20. Can a couple of people put that in their calculator, please? Colby, can you put it in your calculator, please? Thank you, Callum. Did you both get the same?
No.
Make sure you put this into brackets because you have to find the whole area of the base shape with the plus. If you don't put this in brackets, your calculator does BIMDAS, and so it does this part times 20, and then it adds that part. So it's really important that you work out the area and then times it by that. Aaron, did you get 3530? No? You got that? Perfect. Okay. 3530.97. What measurement's it in? Cubic centimetres. Have we answered the question? No? What do we still need to do? Convert it. So we've now got how many mils? The exact same. So that is in mils. Have we answered the question? Good. So 3.53 litres to 2 decimal places. If you're not sure about rounding, go to 2 decimal places, but tell me what you've done. Okay? Don't just write 3 or 4 litres or something along those lines. I'm okay with you rounding to 2 decimal places as long as you show me, which is by writing the 2 dp. Any questions? All right, next lesson we're going to get into the applications. Today it's just about practicing this and making sure you do it. So it's still exercise 9B, I think it is. And then you guys did some questions the other day. Can you just continue on? So you need to have finished exercise 9B. I'll get your book, I'll work it out in a sec.
Oh.
You finished it already?
9B.
9.
That's 8.
No, sorry. No, that's area.
9B, keep going. There's 9B.
So I asked you guys to do some of the questions from 9B before. It goes to question 16. I'd like you to try and get through as many as you can. And just 10 minutes tonight, okay? We will practice a bit more tomorrow.